Hello and welcome, dear students. How are you all? I welcome you to the class of biology. Dear students, let us get started from where we left off in the last class. Students, I would ask you all to report your attendance, please. Dear students, I would ask you all to report your attendance. Please do that quickly. Shillong students, please, I would ask you to report your attendance. Please do it quickly. Shillong students, I hope you can hear me. I believe there is some problem with the chat, I think. Okay, thank you, Shillong students. All right, I believe your message reached me a bit late. Must be some issue with the there must be some issue with the chat, I guess, but it's okay. So in the last class, we have studied about the types of, we had basically discussed this, started to discuss the types of inflorescence. We had discussed and we had started flower. Okay, so let's start from there right away. I believe there is. Give me a second. Yeah, okay. So in the last class, we had almost finished the morphology. There are only few things remaining. Yeah, so let me just quickly come up to that part right away. We had discussed leaf modifications. Now we'll today study flower modifications and all those things. Okay. All right. So please put the heading inflorescence and types of inflorescence. Inflorescence okay. So we are going to discuss the types of inflorescence today. All right. So inflorescence is a group of flowers. How do you define an inflorescence? Inflorescence is described as a condensed axis with highly condensed nodes and internodes with highly condensed nodes and internodes. Okay, and there are two basic types of inflorescence that we are going to study today. Okay, one is called the racemose inflorescence, other is called the cymose inflorescence. Okay, there are two types of inflorescence. One is called the racemose Other is called the cymose. Other is called the cymose. Now, what is the racemose inflorescence? In racemose inflorescence, there is unlimited growth. Give me a second. In a racemose inflorescence, there is unlimited growth of inflorescence axis. Okay. Or you can say indefinite inflorescence axis growth. Here, limited growth of inflorescence axis is there. All right. Now please put the heading racemose inflorescence. Racemose inflorescence. Okay. In bracket you can write indefinite growth of inflorescence axis. I'll explain. Have you seen bouquet flowers normally? Yeah, one more second. Yeah, okay. So how many of you have the habit of gifting flowers or gifting bouquets to your family, to your loved ones? So you have I guess you have seen gladiolus bouquets. Gladiolus bouquets are the most common, or basically you must have seen orchid bouquets. Okay. Now what do you see in those bouquets? In those bouquets, there is a long axis that you see, right? Long axis is visible, and in that long axis, on the bottommost part, the oldest flowers are present. On the topmost part, you can see small flower buds are there. Small flower buds at the top, and as you move down, the flowers are going to become more mature and more mature. Okay? So gladiolus you must have seen. On the bottom part, the flowers are open. On the top part, the flowers are closed. Right? this type of inflorescence in which the inflorescence axis is continuously growing upwards. Okay, new flowers are forming upwards continuously. This type of inflorescence axis is called a racemose inflorescence. Indefinite growth means continuously it is going to grow upwards. After that, I will explain when I finish with racemose. There are many different types of racemose inflorescences. After that, I will complete the basically the next one. Okay. Now, racemose, there is one type of simplest type of racemose is the simple raceme. Types of racemose inflorescence. The first one is simple raceme. Simple raceme. Simple raceme. In simple raceme, please look at it carefully, what is happening. It is like this. This is flower number 1. This is flower number 2. This is flower number 3, flower number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and so on. So first of all, which flower is going to open? Number 1. Then number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is alternating, and each flower is younger than the previous one. Number 2 flower is younger than the number 1 flower. Number 3 younger than number 2, and also number 1. So basically, on the topmost part, youngest flowers are present, and at the bottommost part, oldest flowers are present. In simple raceme, which is basically the skeleton arrangement of racemose, here the inflorescence axis or floral axis grows upwards and the oldest flowers are present at the base while the youngest at the top. It is clear to everybody? That is why I have drawn at the top, I have drawn small flowers. At the top there will be only flower buds. Okay. Now there is one more thing. What is this part? What is this stem called? Can you name it? What is this part called? It is called the peduncle. Peduncle. Here, important thing is, if peduncle or pedicel, it is also called by another name called pedicel. If pedicel is present, such flower is called pedicellate flower. Pedicellate flower. Flower which has a stalk. Another name for it is called stalk. So if you take out a rose, rose is attached by a long green stem. That green stem is the stalk. It is the pedicel or peduncle. 3 names. I hope you are getting this. So pedicellate flowers are born in, another definition of simple raceme is acropetal succession. Pedicellate flowers, I am writing this definition for NEET exam, are born in acropetal succession. Now, do you understand what acropetal succession is, dear students? Do you understand what acropetal is? Yes? Do you understand what acropetal succession is? Say yes or no. Okay. Take a look at any tree, any plant. If you look at any tree, you can see there is always a branching type habit present in the trees. If I look at any tree, how are trees present like? Do not draw this diagram. I am drawing it for so that you can understand something. A tree has many branches like this, right? It is growing up. Another branch like this. And what will happen to the branches? Branches are branching like this. Like this, right? So, you can take a look at your hand also. It is branching into 5 fingers. Okay. So, whenever this type of pattern is present, acropetal means it is growing up, it is dividing smaller branches, even smaller branches and smallest branches like this. Large, medium, small, smaller, smallest like this. So it is going to divide into successive branches. When it is divided into successive branches, this type of division, this type of habit is called acropetal succession. Okay. So here also acropetal succession is happening. It's also a form of branching. Pedicellate flowers are born in acropetal succession. 1, 2. Younger is always at the terminal end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like this. This is acropetal succession. Now then, can you give me some examples of simple raceme? Can you give me some examples of simple raceme? Can you give me some examples of simple raceme inflorescence? Yes? Nobody? Mustard, a very common plant. What is the botanical name of mustard? I believe I have already told you this. Brassica campestris. Mustard is the best example of simple racemose inflorescence. Okay. So now let's move on to the second inflorescence. Raceme, simple raceme basically. Okay. So You write some more examples after besides this: mustard, neem, radish, wait a second, neem will come under compound raceme. Mustard and radish will come under, radish is, I should not underline this because this is not the botanical name, brassica, Raphanus, sativus, just writing the generic name here. Okay. Second thing, after simple raceme inflorescence, we will do the compound raceme inflorescence. Compound raceme inflorescence. What is compound raceme inflorescence is? So listen carefully. In simple raceme inflorescence, the main axis was unbranched. But what will happen if it becomes branched? I'm trying to say is, right now you have studied simple raceme. Now what if I want to produce more flowers? What will I do? In this case, what will happen is, this main axis will undergo many branches. Each branch will have its own separate set of raceme flowers. So, raceme flowers are branching, okay. These are branches are going to bear their own simple raceme. Each unit is a simple raceme, but because of extensive branching, it looks like it is a group of small raceme inflorescences. Okay, so please write the definition. When the main axis of raceme is branched, and the lateral branches bear the flowers. This type of inflorescence is called compound raceme or panicle. There is one more name for it, panicle. And there are three examples that you must remember for it. Example, mango, Mangifera indica, neem, Azadirachta indica, gulmohar. All these are compound raceme examples. Now I will draw the diagram of compound raceme. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Are you getting my point? This is what is happening. Compound raceme panicle. Look, these things are not given you in NCERT. These are very important for NEET, but not given in NCERT. Okay. All right. Now there is a very interesting type of inflorescence, and you will see the question from it in every exam, even your board exams and your school exams. Spike inflorescence. And there is one more question from it, spike of spikelet. There are two different things. One is spike, other is spikelet. Spike of spikelet. Now please write about this. In this type of racemose inflorescence, the main axis remains elongated. The main axis is like simple raceme but without pedicel. But flowers are without pedicel. What do you mean by this? The flowers are there, but pedicel is not there. Sessile flowers. Sessile flowers. Okay. And what is happening here? Flower number 1, flower number 2, flower number 3, number 4, number 5. You can see the flowers are directly attached to the main axis. The flowers are directly attached to the main axis. So they will look like they are sticking to the main axis. And when the seeds will be formed, it will look like a long axis having lots and lots of seeds which are sticking to the inflorescence axis. Okay. And there is a very, very good example of this type of spike inflorescence that you can see around you. Example is Acaranthus aspera. Have you seen the plant? Yeah, nobody will remember by the name of the scientific name that I am speaking, but let me give you a hint. Example, Acaranthus aspera. Now you have seen this plant, but you don't remember it. Now please try to remember whenever you're playing cricket and or you are playing football and your ball goes somewhere else. Your ball goes, let's say it goes somewhere else outside the field. Then when you are coming back to the field, you have seen some seeds, some pointed, sharp seeds which are sticking to your skin, entangled in your hair, or sticking to your clothes. Have you seen? Small seeds, exactly this much in size. Okay, I think my face came in between. Alright, this much in size. Have you seen? Small seeds of this size and this shape sticking to your clothes, brown colored seeds will be there. Sometimes orange, slightly orange, pink. If their seeds are fresh, you will find them green in color. But sooner or later, they are going to turn yellow or brown in color. Yes. These are the seeds of Achiranthus aspera. So right now I don't have an image to show you. Let me see if I can find that image. Had got that image somewhere here. Okay, give me a second. I think I had that image somewhere. So it was somewhere at the end, I guess. No, that's not it. In the last class, I think I had shown you some figures relating to this. Okay, never mind. I'll show you in the next class, I guess. This is the sunflower seed, it will not do. Alright, I'll show you in the next class. I think that image is not available. Alright, no problem. So, that is Achiranthus aspera. It grows in the wild and it is a good example of spike inflorescence. Now, you will get probably one question from this. These are sessile flowers. Okay. When I show you the plant, you will exactly remember what I am talking about. Then there is one more, spike of spikelet. Number 4. Spike of spikelets. Spike of spikelets. Now you can write about this. Each spikelet look, I'll try to help you understand this. Just now we have studied simple raceme inflorescence. In simple raceme inflorescence, if you remove the pedicel, it becomes spike. Now imagine if a similar thing is happening to compound raceme. If you branch the inflorescence axis, it becomes compound raceme. Okay. Now what will happen if you remove the pedicel from compound raceme also? If you do that, you will get spike of spikelet. Here you can see lots of pedicel, right? Lots of flowers having a small stem, a small pedicel, small stalk. If you remove that, it becomes spike of spikelets. So, you can say each spikelet resembles a single spike borne on a long branched inflorescence axis. A very, very good, best example of this is cereals. Example, wheat, rice, etc. Wheat, rice, barley, maize, etc. Spike of spikelets. Okay. Now, there is one detailed question from this. What is what are the different parts of spikelet. Okay. So I am giving you this homework. You have to find out parts of spikelet flower. Find out about glume, lemma, pallia, on. These are the 4 terms you have to find out and label them. Okay, so I'm giving you this homework. Find it out, because I want to give you this diagram, but I want you to find it out. You can simply search for wheat inflorescence, and you can find some images there in which you can have some glume, lemma, pallia. Why I'm telling you this, because you can get very short question, 1 mark question regarding what is glume. Normally glume is asked, others are only important for NEET exam. But at least find out about glume if you are concerned for your boards. Okay. Normally glume is asked. What is glume? So basically it's a modification of compound raceme. Okay. Now then there is a modification of spike inflorescence called spadix. Spadix inflorescence. This is a modification of spike inflorescence having a fleshy axis. Having a fleshy axis, okay, which remains enclosed by one or more large brightly colored bracts called, this is very important, spathe. Now I'm marking it separately. What is spathe? You have got this question numerous multiple times. It's a bract. What is spathe? It is a bract. Now everybody has eaten maize. Okay, maize cob everybody has eaten. On that maize you have some green colored, yellow colored structures outside. Those are spathe. They are spathe. Okay. There is one more thing. It can be colored also. It can be green also. Spathe is generally found in Palmaceae, Musaceae. Musaceae is banana family. Palmaceae is palm family. And Araceae, normally ornamental plants of Araceae. Okay. Okay. This much is there. Spadix. This is done. Now please write the next heading. Corymb inflorescence. Corymb inflorescence. Now what happens in corymb? Please see for yourself. This is corymb. Flower number 1. Flower number 2. Flower number 3. Flower number 4. Flower number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Like this. Corymb inflorescence. Okay. So what is the special thing about corymb inflorescence? You can see when you look at them from the top, all the flowers are on the same level, right? Younger flowers have shorter pedicel, older flowers have longer pedicel. This is the definition of corymb inflorescence, so that all the flowers appear to be on the same level. Here, the older flowers have longer pedicel or stalk, while younger flowers shorter pedicel, so that all flowers appear to be on the same level. Okay. Example, candy tuft. Not Candy Crush, candy tuft. Botanical name is Iberis amara. Iberis amara. Ibis amara. Then there is the umbel inflorescence. Umbel inflorescence is very interesting. How many of you have Samsung phones? How many of you have Samsung phones, mobile phones? Raise your hands. No need to answer. Okay, nobody raised their hands. I guess everybody is sticking to Oppo, Vivo. Alright. What I'm trying to say is, there is a very common wallpaper on Samsung phones. It looks like a umbrella shape, white colored candy tuft flowers. White colored flowers. And actually that's a flower of dandelion. Okay. And when you blow it, like you blow it away, all the flowers, all the seeds that have converted now into flowers, they will blow away. And that's a very common wallpaper on Samsung phones, right? The dandelion flower. It looks like this. It looks like this. White colored. Do you remember this? And when you blow it, it will all get dispersed, right? So that is an example of umbel inflorescence. Let me draw it now. I'm just gonna. This was not a very accurate diagram. So in umbel, this kind of thing happens. Corum, they were on the same level. Here this thing will happen. Now what is the interesting thing you see here? All the flowers have equal length of pedicel. All the flowers have equal length of pedicel. You can see here, right here, in this inflorescence, all flowers have equal pedicels, giving an umbrella-like shape. This is the umbel inflorescence. Example of umbel inflorescence. Now there is simple umbel also, compound umbel also. This is simple umbel. Now imagine if something like this happens. This is compound umbel. This is also not very accurate because it will combine look like umbel only. This is compound umbel. Okay. So simple umbel is found in some other plants, compound umbel in some other plants. Simple umbel examples. Example, Brahmi. Centinella asiatica. Compound umbel. Example, coriander. Coriander. Coriander is Coriandrum sativum. Dhania. Basically, everybody knows it. Coriander. Fennel. Fennel, you know, it's soft. Feniculum vulgare. Feniculum. Feniculum vulgare. Carrot, Docus carota. All these are good examples. Of compound umbel. Okay. Now there is one more point that you must remember. Umbel is characteristic feature of which family, it has been asked. Umbel is characteristic feature of Umbelliferae family. In Umbelliferae family, all these plants I have written, they are basically members of Umbelliferae family. So you can write here for NEET. Umbel inflorescence is characteristic feature of Umbelliferae family. Umbelliferae family. I hope you have written it down. Okay. Now there is one more inflorescence. It is called catkin. It's an interesting inflorescence. let me explain to you what happens. Catkin is very similar to spike inflorescence. Okay. But here there is a different phenomenon what is happening. In spike inflorescence, the axis was straight and simple like this. Now imagine what will happen if the inflorescence axis becomes weak. The inflorescence axis will fall down. The flowers will become, they will look like as if they are hanging down. Okay. So it is similar to spike inflorescence, but the only difference is here the inflorescence axis is not strong, it is weak, and because it has this weak quality, the flowers start to hang down from the branch, from the main stem, instead of standing erect. So if it was standing erect, it is spike. If it is hanging downwards, it is catkin. In this type of inflorescence, in this type, it is similar to spike, but inflorescence axis is weak. So flowers hang downwards. This is the only difference, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like this. Okay. So this is about racemose inflorescence. Racemose inflorescence is over. Now please put the heading cymose inflorescence. Cymose inflorescence. Now what is important about cymose inflorescence? What is happening here? In cymose inflorescence, the case is different. In cymose inflorescence, the case is different. In cymose, here the growth of inflorescence axis is very limited. Here, the inflorescence axis shows definitive growth definite growth or limited growth. Okay. So what is happening here? Types of cymose inflorescence. It is complete. Now try to imagine what is happening. In racemose, the growth was indefinite. The flower was growing, axis was like this, so flowers are coming on sides like this. Here what is happening in cymose, the oldest flower is at the top, okay, and what has happened, after this has undergone flowering, now this will not grow upwards. It will not grow upwards. Now where it will grow sideways. So sideways growth will happen. Sideways new flowers will come. Okay. Sideways new flowers will come. Give me a second. Uniparous. This is B. Uniparous cyme. Uniparous cyme. Here what is happening? Here peduncle bears single terminal flower. A single terminal flower. And a single lateral branch. Single lateral branch which also bears a single terminal flower. Now what you can do with this, that becomes very interesting. I'm not sure everybody wants to learn this much, but I have to do this for your sake and my sake for your NEET exams, okay? Now it has 3 different types. It has 3 different types, but in your course I can say that only 2 types are described. So basically we'll study 2 only. It is of following types: uniparous cyme or monochasial cyme. There is one more name for it. Monochasial cyme is also one more name for it. It is of 2 types. Actually 3 are there, but by course it is only 2, so I'll teach you only 2. One is helicoid cyme. Now this is somewhat interesting. Let me see if you can understand it. Bostrix. So uniparous cyme of helicoid type is like this. flower number 1. It has single flower, single branch. It is ending in a flower, right? Now this branch has another flower, like this. This branch has another flower, number 4. This branch has another flower, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8. You can see what is happening here. It is moving in helix-like, staircase-like method here, like this. So, number 1 flower, number 2 flower, number 3 flower, number 4 flower, and it is giving a helix-like pattern like this. It looks very beautiful. I'll show you the images of actual flowers in the next class. So, this is about helicoid cyme. Okay? Helicoid cyme. Here you can write a monochasial cyme in which successive lateral branches develop only towards one side of main axis. Develop only towards one side of main axis. Example, Hamelia juncus, etc. This is helicoid cyme. Then there is one more, scorpioid cyme. Like a scorpion. One step this way, other step this way. One step this way, other step this way. So here only one side was there. Now imagine what will happen if it is happening towards both sides. When successive lateral branches develop on both sides of main axis in alternate manner. Example is heliotropium. Heliotropium is a really very beautiful example of this. I'll show you in the next class with some images. Now let's draw the diagram of heliotropium, what is happening in heliotropium. Try to understand what is happening here. One flower here, second flower here. Number 3 flower, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. Are you getting me? Like this, like this, like this. Like a scorpion moving. So that is why it is called scorpioid. Now this is all about monoparous cyme. Now let us complete biparous cyme. In monoparous cyme there was only one branch. In biparous cyme there will be 2 branches. In multiparous cymes there will be multiple branches. So for these we only need to learn the examples. This is important for your exams only. But multiparous sign and bichasial sign, I'm just writing this down, and by that I mean inflorescence is over. So in the next class, morphology will be completely done with. You need to only complete some flower types, fruit types, seed and all that. So very minor portion remains now. PPT will be helpful for you in this regard. C. Now this is not a part of this one. I am writing capital C, not small c. Okay. So basically what I am trying to do here is, I should write number 2. Biparous or bichasial sign. You can simply write about this. When peduncle bears a terminal flower, with pair of opposite lateral branches, which also bear with a pair of opposite lateral branches which also bear terminal flowers. Example is stellaria. Multiparous or polychasial sign. Okay. For this, you only need to understand the example. Example is important. Example is Calotropis. I'm already telling you. When peduncle bears single terminal flower, and just below it are present more than 2 lateral branches, bearing terminal flowers. Example, Calotropis. Okay. So this is all for today. In the next class when we meet, we'll do more than this. Okay. We have to complete small parts of flower that is remaining. I'll show you some images. All the examples I'll include of all the plants. And I've given you some homework. Please remember that regarding spikelet, gloom, lemma, palea, bract, what it is called. Okay. Regarding that. So labeling, you can show me a diagram or something. I cannot see the diagram any way, but I hope you can draw it. Okay. So the next class, we will discuss about seed, we will discuss about fruit, which is very important. Types of fruit is normally asked in your exams like pepo, pome, drupe, berry. Okay. So caryopsis, all these things are asked in the exams. So very important for your boards. So I'll include all this information in the next class. Okay. So thank you, dear students. Thank you for your time. Travel home safely and have a good day. Thank you. Thank you so much.